Carol. Oh, here we go. Carol in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. You are on the air with Congressman Ro Khanna.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call so quickly. I wanted to, since you're on the topic of the internet, I saw this morning on Megyn Kelly's show, and I know a lot of people have not forgiven her for working on Fox, but she actually has some good programming. And this morning she had the mother and daughter, the people that were the impetus for the bill that had to do with sexual slavery, basically, young girls being taken into, by pimps and pimped out and all that. And there was recently a bill in Congress that Trump signed like 2 weeks ago to prohibit this sexual exploitation. But there was an
and it had an internet piece to it, didn't it, Carol?
Yes, big internet piece. Backdoor.com is now in a criminal investigation with the mother and daughter and others who fought for the freedom of their daughters. And also, what they said is that Google, a woman whose name I don't know, made a film about this whole issue, that Google was fighting this legislation tooth and nail, and some she called Google companies, so I guess they have subsidiaries. So I was wondering if the congressman knows about, well, I'm sure he does, but this whole issue of, because this bill just passed and was signed by Trump, very important, especially in light of the, predation on women, Bill Cosby just finally being.
Yeah, well, let's get his thoughts on this, Carol. We just have about a minute and a half here.
Okay, thank you.
Carol, thanks for the question. Congressman?
Well, Carol, I appreciate you raising it, and certainly I am very opposed to the exploitation of women and the sex trafficking. On that legislation, though, there were a number of us progressives who voted against some of the bill, and many people in the Progressive Caucus did, and our concerns came from the Electronic Frontier Foundation and concerns on freedom of speech, and a sense that the way the bill was drafted would be overly restrictive and end up censoring potential speech. But it was a hotly debated issue. I just wanted to be honest about my vote and some of the progressives' votes, but it was a concern on speech. But you were absolutely right that there have to be accountability and approaches in terms of sex trafficking, incitement of violence.
There were also a number of sex workers and sex worker organizations that explicitly were opposed to that legislation because they said that they have found basically a safe harbor in the internet, and if you close that door, then they're going to be out on the streets where it's dangerous and you get killed. Is it time for us to, consider that? It seems like that should be a consideration, but B, sex working is still illegal in the United States. Is it time to consider legislation to change that?
Well, I don't know if I would legalize it, but I do think that there may be things we can do to make it health issues or concerns. I mean, I would be hesitant to legalize it, and certainly wouldn't legalize it for underage individuals. But your point about the safe harbors, I think is a good one. And I think we have to look at the consequences of more punitive measures and whether that's just moving these things to the back alley and in a way that's totally unregulated.
It's kind of the law of unintended consequences coming back to bite us. Congressman Ro Khanna with us. We'll be back with more of your calls for the Congressman right after.